basically just lost our backpack. The most important one was our passports. It had my visa, so now I cannot go back to Canada. As promised, this video will be about the whole incident that took place. Yeah, so let's dive right into it. But before we move on to talking about what happened on the 2nd of Jan, let's just rewind back a little and let me tell you guys about the 29th of December when this actually happened. So as I told you guys in the last video, our last stop before our bus back was Times Square, and when I say our last stop, it means we checked out of our hotel. So on the Broadway Street there was this stage set up for New Year, so it happened right in front of the stage, and I think we just kept the bag on the ground and we were taking something out of our handbag, and within like seconds it was gone. We immediately approached the officer who was on duty over there. He was from home security, obviously because there was a stage set up and because it was around New Year's. The security was insane. You could see guards, you could see security people, you could see the police officers. Everybody was on duty. Immediately when we lost our backpack, we went to the officer, we spoke to him, he started talking to his team on the radio, but nobody was able to locate it. So the security officer, he sent us to the Times Square Alliance. What he told us was that Lost and Found goes to the Times Square Alliance building, but because it was New Year's and because it was weekend, everything will be closed. So it is like there's only a 1% chance that they will collect the bag. We still wanted to try our luck. We went to the building, we spoke to the receptionist, they sent us to the station, the substation, and then they also made us talk to the sanitation department to see whether or not somebody had thrown it away. We literally checked out the garbage. I mean, we tried everything. The police told us that we'll have to contact the embassy. They will first have to cancel our passports and our visa, and that is only when they can file a complaint for the lost property. Now, the problem was that it was already 4 p.m. and we looked it up online. It was a Friday, it was 4 p.m. Mostly the embassies get closed, but we looked it up online. It said it is closed. We still called them, nobody was picking up. It was crazy because we lost our only photo ID. This was the only photo ID that we had on us. Now we checked out of the hotel, we missed our bus, and we cannot find another hotel. We cannot stay back because, I mean, who would even give us a room without our photo ID? Nobody would. We were just screwed. I remember we sat down and we thought, what do we do? So we started looking up for, trains and buses so that we could go back. But now there was this other problem. The backpack did not only have our passports, it had our home keys. So we share an apartment with my sister's roommate. She could have, let us in, but she was also away for her holidays. Things kept on happening one after the other, and we were just like, what is happening? But so my sister contacted her roommate and told her that this has happened. She was kind enough to come back, and she was like, it's okay, I'll just cut my trip short. So we just booked the next bus back home, and honestly by that time we were exhausted. I think it was roughly around like 7 or 8, and we had to rush to the bus station because otherwise we would have missed the next bus. We literally reached the stop, I think 5 minutes before the departure, and we had nothing on us. Okay, so We did buy breakfast, but my sister had her breakfast. I did not have my breakfast. I kept it in the bag and I thought I was going to eat it on the bus. Clearly, we lost it with our backpack. So we only had this tiny water bottle, and that too was almost finished. So no water, no food, no nothing. We reached the stop literally 5 minutes before the departure. We kept our stuff, and then my sister went down and told the driver that can I just go get something to eat, and he said that if you leave right now you're going to miss the bus. Obviously we could not have taken the risk. She came back and it was a 4 to 5 hour ride back home. We had this much water left and we weren't drinking. I was like, you have it. She was like, you have it. And then my mom is back in Pakistan right now. So the last time we spoke to her before she slept was when we were checking out of the hotel, and we told her that in like 3-4 hours we are going to leave. So according to her, when she woke up, we were supposed to be in Boston. So she called us and we were still on the bus, and she was like, what happened? And then we told her this, and she was like, what? And she got so scared. I think we ourselves weren't as scared. She was very scared and she almost started crying. But I mean, obviously it was a huge deal, so I understand her reaction, because also she was feeling helpless, because there was nothing she could do for us. So it was a hell of a day, but yeah. So that was 29th of December. So the next 3 days, even though it was a weekend and then New Year's, we kept on calling everybody we could. My trip was originally for 14 days. I was basically supposed to go back on the 3rd of Jan, but nothing was going the way we wanted it to go. We looked up the next available appointment to go to the embassy, the Pakistani embassy. It was, I think, 2 weeks later. Obviously, we couldn't have waited till then. We found this emergency number from a guy who works at the consulate online, and we contacted him, and he told us that it's okay if you do not get an appointment, just come here on Tuesday, 2nd of Jan, and we'll see what we can do. I think he called us at 9 a.m. We managed to reach New York around, I want to say 8 a.m. The plan in our head was to just go back to the Broadway street, so go back to Times Square, and just like for our own sanity and our own peace, we decided to check everything again. So we went to the substation, we went to the South Precinct, North Precinct, everywhere. So I spoke to this police officer, and obviously he told me that I will have to go to the embassy, and I told him I was, and I'm just on my way to the embassy. I was trying my luck. So he told me that if I get a police report made and if I have the letter from the embassy, the airline might allow me to board the flight. So we called the airline, and we told them this has happened, now can we board the plane, what are the steps, what is the policy. And they told us that if I have so there's this thing called emergency travel document. If we have that, they'll allow me to board even without the passport. Now, the emergency travel document can only be issued through the embassy. We went to the embassy, they made us wait for the longest time, but we go to the reception and we told them that, can you issue this to us? And the lady told me that the document is only issued so that you can travel back to your own country. So if I wanted to go back to Pakistan, I could use the document and I could go back even without a passport. But I cannot go to a third country with that document. We were like, okay, now what are my options? Because my university was starting next week. What do I do? And we spoke to this guy who was some sort of a head, and he told us that there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. What I can do from my side is that I can allow you to start your application for the new passport today, but otherwise there's nothing I can do. So he was allowing us to start the application without an appointment, so it was generous of him to do that. But so there were two things that we had to do. The first step was to cancel our passport. The second was to apply for a new one. Now the cancellation was taking forever, so meanwhile the guy also suggested that we contact the Canadian consulate in New York. Obviously we cannot be lucky, so nobody was picking up, and we decided that, you know, because anyways the Pakistani consulate was taking forever, maybe the best decision is to go to the Canadian embassy and speak to them. Maybe they can issue me something that, you know, helps me go back. We went to the Canadian consulate. She called in a guy, and he told me that, you know, there's nothing we can do, and I understand that it obviously isn't in their capacity to do this much for a temporary resident. But you know, he gave me a checklist and he explained me that, you know, this is the steps that you have to take, then you send us the package and we'll, you know, apply for a visa. And then he told me the most we can do for you is this process takes approximately like 7 to 10 business days, the visa process, but because, you know, this is an urgent case, we can expedite it for you and we'll try to make it 1 to 2 days, which is obviously a big thing. So now we go back to the Pakistani embassy, and they were supposed to issue us a letter which then we were then supposed to take to the police station. So the letter was supposed to state that, you know, we had lost our passport and all of that. So they took literally 3 hours to write the letter, because they also went on a lunch break, which is fine, but it wasn't our fault that they took 3 hours to do that, right? So the first step for the embassy was obviously to you know, cancel our passport, and when they do that, the next step would be to, you know, apply for a new passport. Now the problem with that was the filing of the lost passport took 3 hours, and when we said that okay, now we want to apply for a new one, what's the process, they told us we have stopped the application, so now there's nothing we can do today, you will have to come back tomorrow. And we were like, what? We were literally with you guys made us wait, and now you're saying your time is up, like what the heck? So they were like, no, but we cannot do anything, and they were extremely rude. Even though it was their fault, they were rude and they were shouting on us that it's your fault that you're late. We were literally here at 9 a.m. We literally waited for 3 hours, and now you're saying it is our fault. You cannot do anything. Like, that's bullshit. So we argued with them for a few minutes, and they were just like, we cannot do anything, these are your letters, you can go submit it to the police station. They gave us 2 sealed envelopes that we were supposed to take to the police station so that, you know, they can file our report. I mean, I don't know what kind of people they are. There were 2 envelopes, both of them were sealed. There was no way to tell which one had what. They did not even have our names written on the envelope. Now how are we supposed to know which one belonged to which of us? Like, this is common sense. We were so upset. I literally, thankfully I checked it before leaving the embassy, and I was like, it does not have any names, and they were like, what? And he literally like snatched it from me as if it was my fault that there's no name. Anyways, cutting long story short, we went to the police station, we filed the report. It did take a couple of hours as well, but at least they finished the process. So now we had 2 options on us. One was to go back, because obviously we couldn't stay in New York without our ID. So one was to go back and then come the next day to apply for our passport. The other one was to apply online, which is a risky process in the sense that they might reject our fingerprints, and then we have to eventually go down to the embassy and do everything. which would obviously then take much longer, but we still decided to take our chance with the online application. And I really also want to make a video about that, the process and the things that you need when you're applying for a new passport. So I think I will also do that, but for now that's it. I wasn't expecting it to be this long. I literally started when there was sunlight and now it is dark. But this is something I can go on and on and on about because I'm so frustrated and so irritated. But I think I will have to end the video eventually. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and do not forget to tune back in for the next video. Once again, thank you so much for all the love that you've shown. Please continue to do so. It really motivates me to keep it going. So yeah, until next time, bye bye.